Alright, hello everybody. It is time to paint some sunrises and some sunsets, whichever one you want. So first things first, I'm going to make mine quite a colorful sunset, I think. Those are my favorites. And I'm going to pick out my colors. I'm going to use a lot of reds. I'm going to use a little bit of purple, some blues, now first things first, you're going to start at the top of your canvas with your sky color. Just brush that on there. And then as I go down the canvas, I'm going to start adding in some of my other colors in strokes. So I'm going to do some more pinky type colors up here. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my white and mix that in. And towards the top of your canvas, it should be much lighter colors. That should be like more your pinks and your yellows. Make sure you mix some white in with the colors that are towards the top of your canvas to make them a little bit brighter. I'll move on to orange and really just blend that in with my yellows here. And as you can see, I'm not going all the way across the canvas with my colors. I'm stopping them a quarter of the way in, or half of the way in, or only going 3/4 of the way across the canvas, so that way as I continue to work them down, it looks a little bit more organic, like an actual sunset. Because as we know, the sky is not just one solid color. It's a nice gradient of colors. And as you get towards the bottom of your canvas, you want to make your colors bolder. Give them a little bit of oomph. And when you're mixing your colors, you want to avoid using complementary colors right next to each other when you're blending, because if you mix colors that are opposites, like orange and blue, or yellow and purple, or red and green, you're going to get a lot of muddy colors. And what you want is nice, clear, bright colors. So be very careful not to be mixing up your complementary colors. Alright. Now that I got a good base layer down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to make some of the colors a little bit brighter in certain areas. And if your brush starts to get too full of paint, make sure you rinse it off and dry it off on a towel. Alright, now that I've got a good base layer going here, I'm going to go ahead and just let that dry for a few minutes, and we'll be right back. Alright, now that my sunset here has dried a little bit, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to punch up the colors just a little bit more now that there's a nice background layer. I'm just going to be doing that with a smaller brush than what I used the first time. I'm just going to give a little more definition to the areas that I think could use it. Like my pinkish red at the top was a little too light for my taste. Down here, just clarifying some of the colors that you laid down earlier. Maybe adding in some contrasting colors in other spots. And again, I'm not going to be going across the entire length of the canvas with all of these brush strokes. I'm going to be keeping them in the areas that I worked on earlier. As you switch around colors, you want to make sure you're cleaning off your brush to make sure everything stays bright and nothing gets too muddy. gone back in and I've punched up some of the colors, just built up some more layers on my canvas here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in some clouds. So I'm going to be using my white paint for this. Same paintbrush we were using before. It's this one. I'm going to make my clouds a little more streaky. And this is just to lay in where our clouds are going to be. We'll let it dry and come back with another layer so they don't have to be very opaque right now. They can be a little more see-through. And I'm just going to be doing a few. I don't want too many to block the view of my beautiful sunset here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let that dry before I come back with the next layer. Alright, now that I have let my clouds dry a little bit, we're going to go back in and give them a little more definition. I'm using a smaller brush this time, using this one. Now I'm keeping my clouds kind of wide and squat. There are tons of different cloud types out there. Feel free to make your clouds fluffy and big. If you want your clouds to be smaller, maybe you don't want clouds in your sunset at all. All of that is fine. Still need a little touch up later, but for now it's okay. Alright, now that my clouds are a little more solid, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the black paint just along the bottom edge here. And I'm going to paint in some trees, maybe a building or two, because what is a sunset worth if there's nobody there to take it in? I'm going to do some trees. And the reason I like to do trees versus buildings or people is that trees, very organic shape. You can't really mess up a tree. You can kind of see there. Got my bushy tree shapes in there. I'm going to add just a few more on the other side. And that is that. There is my finished sunset, complete with all my little tree silhouettes and clouds.